You know, I thought Bethesda might learn from Starfield. I thought they would step back, absorb the feedback, take it to heart, and really use it to perhaps improve in the future. They'd take these lessons, they'd stay humble. Nah, they're back on Steam. They're responding to negative reviews, and they're here to convince everyone that if you didn't enjoy the game, if you thought it was a pathetic, sad excuse for an experience, then you are wrong. It is your fault. You are playing the wrong way. And there's plenty of reviews they're responding to. Pretty much anything that's negative, they're right onto it. They don't want anyone to consume the negative review without them being able to give their side of the story. So we've got this review, and this user, they've been playing for around 30 hours. And I know there'll be some copers out there who'll say, oh, 30 hours, that's not enough. You need at least 100 to give a fair take. That is garbage. 30 hours is more than enough. You've seen it all. The game does not get any better. And they say the game about space in which your ship is nothing more than set dressing for storage containers, an optional, extremely simplistic arcade-style minigame where you fly your ship in a line, hold the trigger for every AI to blow themselves up by flying directly into your path. That is pretty much space travel. You are sitting still. The game doesn't even give you the illusion that you're moving around. You are stuck. And all you do is go backwards, you look around, you shoot things. It's so boring. One of the worst parts of the game, and that's the only part of space travel that there actually is. This person is correct. They go on to say that it's a game about exploration that delivers the thrill of opening your menu, selecting the fast travel option, clicking to fast travel to a star system, loading, opening your menu, click to fast travel planet, loading, then answer the same NPC dialogue at every planet before you're treated to another loading screen to finally land on a planet. This is space travel. This is immersion. It's a space sim. They've referred to it in that way in some of their responses, and that is the experience. Screen, screen, screen. Very little gameplay, and they go on. They give a fair take on this game. It's all accurate. Bethesda, Todd Howard in disguise. They respond. Hi there. Thank you for taking the time to provide your review, and we are sorry to hear that you were disappointed with encountering many loading screens while playing. While there may be loading screens in between fast traveling, just consider the amount of data for the expansive gameplay that is procedurally generated to load flawlessly in under 3 seconds. Well, that's fine, but there's 10 loading screens in a row, so you've got to times 3 times 10. It's going to be 5 minutes before you actually get anywhere. And then it's a fetch quest that you're going to be doing. You'll speak to someone, they send you back to another planet. It's in a totally different solar system, so you've got to go through this another 15 times. This defense, did this person play their own game? Probably not. It always seems to be the case that developers don't even play the games they're making. They are out of touch with the average player. This proves it. And they say that we believe that shortcoming will not hinder our players from getting lost in the world that we created. You were wrong. This person has left a negative review to go amongst many, many negative reviews. It's mixed reviews on Steam right now. Not positive like the vast majority of AAA games. You've got to really fuck up to fall below positive reviews on Steam. A lot of players are very generous. The game works, they give it a thumbs up. How often do you see someone say, the game sucks, it's no good, and they've still given it a thumbs up? Not many people give negative reviews. They must really dislike it if they have. And according to you, everything's fine. Our players, they're getting lost in this world that we've created. It's incredible, despite them literally to your face telling you it's crap. Starfield is an RPG with hundreds of hours of quests to complete and characters to meet. Quantity over quality. If it was a 25, 30-hour experience, Mass Effect 1 is another space game. It's not 100 hours, but it's better than this middling game that wallows in mediocrity. Most quests will also vary on your character's skills and decisions, massively changing the outcome of your playthrough. I don't remember when I got the quest to take down 5 posters, or go and talk to someone and then return something. I don't remember my skills playing a massive role in that. Now, I will be fair, not every questline is total garbage, but many of them are, and it has never been Bethesda's strong suit to create quality questlines, choices, consequence. Often it's just been the world and everything else is scenery along the way. Sure, you get a quest where there's a positive and negative decision, but usually the positive one is clearly what has been designed. And the kind of quests that they create are the ones where if you go with the good option, then you will get to play out the content, meet the characters, go through a bit of a story. If you choose the evil option, then you skip all the content. The quest is just dead right there. You kill someone or you do the wrong thing. It's over. There's very rarely any nuance to any of the quests. It just makes me think about, say, Fallout 3, where you've got the Megaton bomb and you've got two options. Go through the content or blow up the bomb. The town's gone. That's the end of it. There's very rarely anything interesting about their different options that they have in their games. It's not like a New Vegas, it's not like a Baldur's Gate 3. This is Bethesda. They are not known for quality. Try creating different characters with backgrounds and characteristics that clash or are opposites of your previous character. You will feel like you're playing a totally different game. And you can put points in different skills from a character you've previously created. You are now faced with completely different decisions to make and difficulties to encounters. There are so many layers to Starfield that you will find things that you never knew were possible after playing for hundreds of hours. Yeah, it's called an RPG. We've all played one. We're saying that yours sucks. We don't want to spend hundreds more hours in the title just to confirm what we already know. There is limited time. We've all got limited gaming time. We want to play something that is engaging. We don't want to be patronized to and be told, you just haven't played enough, you think the game's boring, you just need to invest another 100 hours on top of the 70, 80 that you've already put in. It's gonna get better. No. As usual, as with most games, the content is front-loaded. If you've played the main quest lines, the main side quest lines, it's not gonna get better. The only content you haven't experienced is shit that has been made with a computer. It's random. And this is actually what people hate. That's what they don't like about your game, because if you try and just land on a planet, land anywhere and explore, a bit like in a Skyrim, if you just went out in the world and you wanted to go somewhere, that's why people historically have played Bethesda games. If you do that in Starfield, that's how you have the worst possible experience. The exploration, it doesn't exist. And trying to constantly tell people you're playing the wrong way, you've just got to create a new character. It doesn't matter how many you create. The experience is going to be the same when it comes to exploration. And that's what people aren't happy with. Space travel, the loading screens. You're just going to get more of them with a new character. It's not going away. Even after completing the main story, your adventure doesn't end. You can continue on to New Game Plus to keep exploring Starfield and all that is out there. Why do you think this person left a negative review? They never want to play it again. They don't want to see it again. Kill me now if I've got to play this one more time. We've got another review here. This person has played for 75 hours because they needed that dopamine fix. Looking back, it's a boring story. It's a boring world. Also, I cannot get over that one mission that I thought would be awesome. Finding a ship launched from Earth 200 years earlier, with the offspring of the original crew finally finding humanity. They find that their fellow humans are using the same computers with the same operating system on their ship as the rest of the universe, meaning they haven't updated anything in 200 years. Incredible immersion, the lore, the world building. These guys really pay attention to detail, and I mean, hey, if Microsoft didn't update Windows for 50 years, I'd probably save some money. And this time, Toddy, whoever this Bethesda developer is, they say that, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to provide your review, and sorry to hear that you did not enjoy your time in Starfield. If you feel that things are getting boring, there is so much more to do than just the main mission. This is it. If you're bored, you just need to keep playing. If you're not having fun, you haven't spent enough time. You just gotta keep going, keep banging that head against the wall Eventually you'll push through. Eventually you're just going to discover the enjoyment. We can't really tell you where the fun is, but it's there. It's kind of like panning for gold. Maybe you'll get lucky. There are many side missions where you can learn more about the people and story of Starfield. Again, this is an RPG. It's not our first. This is par for the course. And we don't want to learn anything. The characters are boring. They're bland. They're robots. They all seem like they've been created in ChatGPT. I couldn't be less interested. You can take time to explore various planets for resources and items. Break the law by smuggling and selling contraband. Is it just me, or is Starfield like the least reactive game ever? If you actually take something from a shop or in the NPC's vicinity, they don't react, they don't do anything. There's videos, you've probably tried it yourself in-game. If you go on a shooting frenzy in town in New Atlantis, the NPCs are fine with it. It's par for the course. Everyone's got their own thing to do. We're not gonna get in your way, disrupt your fun. You can get up close and personal, rub your balls in someone's face, and they're not gonna do anything. This is normal in Starfield. Go about your business. The NPCs are robots. They don't do anything. What's going to be fun about breaking the law, smuggling, selling the contraband? At least from what I've experienced, this is just more nonsense where you've got to go through a bunch of loading screens. I steal something and then I've got to go somewhere else, store the piece of cargo, the contraband, move around. There's no fun in this. Build your own outposts and starships and customize them to your enjoyment. Why? It's purely aesthetic. Especially the starships, because what's the point of building a ship that you're never going to see outside of a repetitive cutscene where you lift off? If you actually get into space, you sit there idle, you don't do anything, you can't fly anywhere. Menus, menus, menus. That's all it is. They developed the shipbuilding aspect, but whatever team did that was totally disconnected from whoever was doing the gameplay. Why bother? It evokes the same feelings as when you can totally customize the outfit and look of your character, but you're playing in first person. Who cares? You can't see your character. Nice and easy for the devs to go, we're going to give you all these options, but we can do that because we don't really have to do a lot of work, because you get to pick stuff from a menu, change the look of things, but you're never going to really see your character in game, or you're at least not going to do anything useful with it. Same with the ships. There are many things to do, and you can visit our Discord for further ideas from other players. Okay then, so you've outsourced the bug fixes, basic improvements like making a map for the game, you've outsourced that all to modders. Now you're doing it for how to have fun in the game. We can't think of any reasons why you should be having fun in Starfield. Go and talk to our players. I'm sure they'll be sucked in. There'll be a few copers who'll tell you, oh, if you just slow down, the game's going to be incredible for you. Go to the forum, speak to the players. We can't help you. I love to read the rest of this review, but these employees are about as robotic as the Starfield NPCs. They just regurgitate the exact same stuff in these responses. I don't know if they're robots, if they're just lazy. Who knows? But I don't think this is working, because the comments... Wilbo Baggins says, because replying to Steam reviews telling people with valid criticisms to stop complaining about your bad game is exactly what developers who make great games would do. I don't actually remember Larian Studios finding the 1 or 2 negative reviews on Steam and complaining about those. In fact, there was a post, I believe, by Swen, the main guy behind Baldur's Gate 3, who said that he's been reading the Steam reviews, taking them in. I guess for him, he's having a good time. They're overwhelmingly positive. He's sitting there with a smile, reading the good feedback. Meanwhile, Todd, he's very angry. He's red-faced. He's like a tomato. He's got his underlings on here defending the king. And we've got this review. Boring, empty, soulless, unpleasant to play. Todd told me I'd be exploring space, not fast travel menus. You don't really explore anything at all. You just teleport from desolate waste to desolate waste. Then your spaceship sets down to a 15-minute walk from the copy-paste point of interest you've been fetch quest towards. Every chump space bandit, they've got the same 3 health bars. Infinite empty planets. This guy is selling me. Dungeons and caves don't just have no rewards, they also have no enemies. Dead-eyed NPCs blather at you with dialogue as wordy as it is boring. The Bethesda magic, it is gone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Bethesda are going to respond to this. they're going to look stupid. They're going to give the worst possible excuses ever. They're going to blame the player. They're going to blame how you're playing the game. Nah, this time it's got to be different. This time they're going to put the right combination of words together that proves this wrong. It gets all the players back on side. You're going to see Steam update from mixed to overwhelmingly positive because they have got the answers. Thank you for taking the time to leave a review for Starfield. We can understand your frustration with fast travel making the universe feel much smaller. Oh good, so you do play the game. You have felt this frustration. That makes me feel a little bit better. Given the immense size of Starfield, we felt that it made more sense to be able to use your grav drive to jump to other solar systems. The option to fly freely among planets is still there, and you can travel from one planet to another and land without needing to open your map if you just use your scanner. However, for an expedition like solar system traversal, jumping is necessary. I don't care what you call these little gadgets, these little features. I just want to play a video game that's fun. However you've done it, it hasn't worked. It's not enjoyable. People were saying it from day one. It's not like people were enjoying the game and they got burnt out and they were sick of it. Day one, people saw the flaws immediately. And this company deluded themselves. Todd Howard said a year out from release, the game wasn't fun, but they managed to fix it. And you deluded yourselves because you'd already spent 7 years on this piece of crap. You couldn't turn back now. You couldn't run to Microsoft and say, hey, we've just wasted all your money. We've spent it on Starfield. Play this pile of junk. You'll see, we can't release this. Don't do what you did with Redfall. Apparently not. They told themselves that it's fun, and they've got these excuses ready to go. Remember that fast travel also has its perks, as you can do so quickly when trying to complete quests, and will always be given visual of your ship launching and landing, thus being able to appreciate all the little details that make your customized ship look unique. We know this, it sucks. Trying to say, oh, because we put a visual animation if you're taking off, that fixes everything, that's another loading screen. It's there to create an illusion of something going on, but no one's fooled. We know nothing's going on. You're just clicking buttons on a menu. As another reviewer said, it's a menu simulator. We don't want to fast travel. Just create 2-3 genuinely populated planets, handcrafted content that I can go out and explore. I can take it all in. I can find handcrafted, interesting content. That is what is missing. It is the fundamentals of the game. It's not tweaking a couple of things, just approach it all in a slightly different way. The castle was built on sand. Just stop. To keep Starfield as dynamic as possible, NPCs are not fully scripted, so weirdness can ensue sometimes. You don't say. You don't script your NPCs. I am shocked to hear it. How could you possibly script in? You've created a real masterpiece here. You've created something that we can always go back to. It's going to have a cult following in the future. Modders are apparently going to support this for 10 plus years. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't a modder want to spend their time on a game that's had this much attention to detail, that Bethesda clearly care about this much? Surely your free time is well spent here. And that was me trying to be a Starfield NPC, by the way. I didn't just have a fit on camera. If you feel that things are getting boring, oh my god, I've read this before. Stop copying, pasting. You did it in the game, you're doing it here again now. You're going to make me lose interest. This is the last review we're going to tackle, and this person says it doesn't just work. They're a huge RPG fan, they've been playing for 20 plus years, they go all in, they are dissecting everything, the shipbuilding, the lockpicking, zero-G combat, the soundtrack. Soundtrack's okay, yep, that's my one piece of praise for the day. The bad, this is a very big section. Combat, stealth, all crap, the perk tree, the story, the dialogue, the quest design, user interface, art direction. That was the bad. We've got the ugly now. That was like the middling bad. This is even worse. The bugs, the exploration, the conclusion. It's no good. It's a 5 out of 10 if they're being generous, and only because they like Bethesda-styled RPGs. Our good friend Bethesda_Falco Yamoka. He's back. He's going to prove all this wrong. The combat in Starfield is some of the most advanced in a Bethesda title to this day. Is that a brag? Because all this really says is that the combat in your previous games was absolutely hot garbage. Fallout 3 combat. Most of the Elder Scrolls games. Come on, don't dig yourself a deeper hole. Especially when you say it is one of our players' favourite aspects of the game. Once again, if that is true, it's because everything else is so bad, it makes the combat look serviceable. That is the best you could say. Spongy enemies. Boring, the same enemies, the same spaces. Even the guns themselves. There was a great video I watched that really broke down that there's something like 3 genuinely unique guns in the game, and they're just all copy and pasted. They might look different, but it's basically 3 types of guns that play the same way. Don't be fooled into thinking you've got a massive arsenal. They were lazy with that as well. To experience some of Starfield's better stealth scenarios, we recommend you embark on the Ryojin faction quests. Yeah, nah. The best way to go about leveling your character is to focus on one page of the perk tree for your current run. This is an RPG. We're meant to approach this our own way, and now you're saying, oh, no, you've gone into the perk tree all wrong, you should pick this skill, you should go about it this way. Just give it up. You've designed the game so poorly that you've got to have these paragraphs of excuses. No, if you just did this, you would have had fun. Not buying it. Oh, but of course, you can always farm points during spaceship combat and just killing creatures of random planets for some easy XP. Oh, if you were bored, just go out there and grind for 10 hours. That'll be a bit better. That's going to improve the experience. What a top piece of advice that is. We can understand your frustration with how the UI functions within the game. Starfield's art direction and overall UI aesthetic is meant to be cohesive and have a NASA punk look. What the fuck even is NASA punk? When I think of that and I picture it, I just imagine some nerdy scientist having one too many drinks on a Saturday night. This term kept getting talked about. Is it a real term or did they invent it? Because I get it's more garbage because they wanted to create a game that was not really sci-fi. It was more grounded. That just sounds like an excuse because you made a batshit boring game that has nothing interesting with it. And your excuse was we wanted to keep it realistic. Well, real apparently sucks. Menus are clean, bold, and neatly organized with a focal point on the player's character. The skill menu is colourful and iconic, while the inventory shows off items, weapons, and armour in a visually striking way. These UI design choices increase your immersion into the Starfield universe. Who are you trying to convince here? We've played it. We've dealt with this for hours and hours. It feels rubbish. It looks rubbish. The game doesn't actually have any real art direction. If you go back to Morrowind, even Skyrim, they've got unique art styles. No matter what you think of those games, they absolutely are distinctive. Starfield is not. It's bland, it's washed out, and I don't know who they're trying to sell this to. We're not investors that they probably would have looked to scam 15, 20 years ago before they were bought out by Microsoft. We are just the players. We've dealt with this. We don't want to hear it. I don't even know who they're trying to convince with this. Find me one person who didn't like the game, read this, and had their mind changed. I'll be impressed. Scared, but impressed. We want to make Starfield awesome for everyone who wants to venture out into it. Sorry, no one does. No one ever will. The game sucks. And I hope we get more of these because they're pretty funny. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.